Hello?
Hey there. Give it just a minute here.
Okay.
Give me just a minute, folks. I'm just going to test the link from the site. I'm getting some messages that the link from the agenda didn't work, but we've got quite a few people on.
Uh-oh.
So, just give me a sec. As I see, we have one listener on the phone, so just trying to want to make sure we're doing it right.
Excuse me.
I think someone might, there's a June 29th and a July 6th. Got to make sure you're using the June 29th meeting. I just tested it from a device and the link from the agenda worked fine. All right, we'll proceed. I'd like to call the meeting the June 29th special meeting of the Northfield Township Board of Trustees to order at 7:04. Invocation. Heavenly Father, we come before you and ask that you guide us in all the things that we will be deliberating this evening, and guide our hand, and that we serve the people of Northfield Township as best we can. We ask this in your holy name. Amen. Next is the pledge. Here. Here. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Liberty and justice for all.
Next is roll call. Ms. Otto, in the absence of Ms. Manning, would you mind calling the roll?
Yes, if I can unmute myself. Lenore's
Present, Whitmore Lake, Northfield Township, Washtenaw County, Michigan.
Janet Chick,
Janet Chick, present. Northfield Township, Washtenaw County, Michigan.
Nate Muko,
Nate Moko, present. Northfield Township, Washtenaw County, Michigan.
and Dignan,
Ken Dignan, present. Northfield Township, Washtenaw County, Michigan.
Joshua Nelson,
Joshua Nelson, present, Northfield Township, Washtenaw County, Michigan.
Kathy Manley, she's absent, notice.
Noted. Yep.
And then Jackie Otto, present, North Township, Washtenaw County, Michigan.
Okay, we do have a quorum. Next is adoption of the agenda. There was one item on the agenda as part of bills to be paid. That is the insurance bill. We've already approved the insurance agreement and the dollar amount previously. This is simply the actual invoice to be paid. It's for $10,636. I'd like to add that as item 5 under new business. And then I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll support.
Motion by Dignan, supported by Nelson. Discussion?
I will.
Hearing none. Ms. Otto, would you call the roll?
No, Mr.
I'm sorry.
Supervisor, sorry.
Yeah, your video is not
So I
coming
just want to
across.
well, no, it's not. Huh.
No.
It's not that, I don't know. Well, that internet thing again.
It
Doesn't like
said
the weather.
your bandwidth is
I just
low.
want, yeah. I would just like to say this just came across yesterday. So that's why it's being added on such short notice. So I
Correct.
agree with adding items like this onto the agenda when necessary. That's all my comments. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. We definitely do everything we can to try not to do this. The only added thing is that we've already approved this in the past. This is simply to actually pay the bill. So, all right. If there are no other discussion, Ms. Otto, would you call the roll?
Joshua Nelson,
Yes.
Nate Moko,
Yes.
Lenore Zelnok,
Yes.
Janet Chick,
Ms. Chick, you're muted.
Yes.
Jackie Otto, yes. Ken Dignan.
Yes. All right. Motion carries.
6-0.
Next item on the agenda is petitions and communications. This is time for citizen comment. Please limit your comments to items that are on the agenda for deliberation this evening. And if there's anyone that would like to speak, all right. See, our county commissioner, Ms. Schenk, is here, and go ahead, Ms. Schenk.
Thank you, Supervisor Dignan, and greetings, Board of Trustees. I just saw that the resolution regarding broadband is on your agenda tonight, and I want to let you know that I support allocating funds to build out broadband or otherwise provide for internet in Washtenaw County. And so if you choose to pass that resolution, I will receive it gratefully. And I look forward to, in the coming weeks, talking to you more about some ideas we have for spending the American Rescue Plan funds, and talking with you about what's important in Northfield Township as you see it, and how we might work together if the board desires it. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Commissioner Schenk. We greatly appreciate it. Okay. All right, next. Individual ending in 8005. Go ahead.
Hi, it's Marissa President, 32 Shum Drive. Calling in. I'm out and about, but I wanted to call in regards to the agenda item concerning returning to in-person meetings. As an LPC member and volunteer, I really enjoy the virtual meetings. I find them not only more efficient, but more productive and also more accessible. During my time on the LPC prior to COVID, there were never any members of the public. And in the last 14 months, we've had several, including a trustee, Mr. Moko, several times, as well as Supervisor Dignan attend, which is always nice. And I know that some of the other trustees have watched the videos, which is another benefit, that they are able to be inexpensively recorded and stored for people to view at a later date. So I understand wanting to return to in-person 100%. And for the paid boards, I think that's a great idea. I would encourage the board to consider allowing the volunteer positions to vote on it themselves. There's 7 members on every commission to decide whether or not they want to return to in-person. I know the LPC did their own resolution a few months ago to remain virtual until the end of the year. But of course, if the rest of the commission was up, the rest of the committee was up to review that, that would be something we would have to do. But I would just encourage you to not dictate it to the volunteer boards, but to allow them to decide for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. President. Okay. Next is Mr. Resident or Mrs. Resident. Go ahead.
Yes, Adam Oley, Northfield Township resident. Going along with Marissa's comment, I fully support the returning to in-person for board members, paid positions. But like I spoke at the last meeting, I think not having a hybrid option is doing a disservice to the community when many board members and other committees and commissions talk about transparency and communication and, you know, being open to the public and accessible. I think having that hybrid option is a must for us. And I completely understand if, you know, the lawyer's concerned about board members attending in person or attending virtually. So we've known this for a while now. I think it came back in January or February about how when this, you know, COVID comes to an end and in-person meetings continue, that the hybrid option is something that we should look into. It's kind of disappointing that we're getting to that point now and it hasn't been addressed yet, or it hasn't been solved yet. So the fact that we're trying to go to in-person meetings is great, but having the ability to do hybrid with public participation, I think is something that we have to get done as soon as possible for the board, the LPC, the Planning Commission, all of those, not only for just residents, but as we've seen, many presentations given during COVID are from people that aren't in Northfield Township. It's a lot easier for people that maybe are in a different part of the state, or like Supervisor Dignan was able to participate from Florida at one point. So I understand if board members can't participate virtually, but I definitely think that the residents and others should be able to, and that we need to figure that out as soon as possible. Also the broadband, obviously, I don't really need to speak on that. Lenore speaks on it all the time. So have a good evening.
Thank you. All right, if there's anyone else from the board that would, anyone else from the public that would like to address the board, you can raise your hand at this time. This time I don't see anyone else with their hand raised. I do want to speak to one point that was made, and that is in regards to a hybrid. I think a hybrid would be a great solution. It is a time and resource question, and finding an organization that can do that. The concern is not paid board versus voluntary board, because all our boards are subject to the Open Meetings Act, and all of them are subject to the same level of requirement there. So us returning to in-person meetings is something that I believe strongly we need to follow the advice of our legal counsel on that front. And at this time, until we can effectively implement a hybrid solution, that all boards go to in-person meeting. But we'll talk more on that as the item comes up. Are there any other board members that would like to answer any of these clarifications at this time? Yes, Ms. Zelena.
So I would just like to thank our members of the public for speaking out on these items. I will save my comments until we actually get to them as well, but I do appreciate their input and their comments.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Otto.
It does appear that there's somebody that did have their hand up. Terry.
They raised their hand after we had proceeded beyond the comment.
Okay.
I'm more than calling them if the board is okay with that. Is the board okay with that? Okay.
Yep.
Terry Gordonier, you
yes,
go ahead.
I appreciate the gesture on your end. I apologize for the delay. I was trying to find the icon on my telephone screen. At any rate, regarding the broadband idea, we've lived at our address in Northfield Township for 32 years, and we're probably within 2 miles of Google. And it's very frustrating that we're denied any high-speed access at all. And back when I think his name was Fink, wasn't he the township attorney for a bit? And he was frustrated too. It didn't seem like it was ever going to happen for this township. And I don't know how we get around that. Again, over 3 decades, it just seems like Northfield spins their wheels in regard to something like broadband. What shot is it for us to finally realize it?
All right. Thank you. Appreciate your comments. Okay, moving on. If there are no more clarifications, there were two correspondents that did come in from the time the board packet was received till now, and they were both in support of the broadband resolution. Moving on to the next item of new business is the Resolution 21-645 fiscal year 2020-2021 final budget amendments. I'm going to promote Ms. Starbuck to panelist. Good evening, Ms. Starbuck. How are you?
Hi, everyone. I'm doing well.
Great. Go right ahead.
Well, everything has been sent out to the board. The resolution is what is in the packet. The amendment spreadsheet did change, and so the board has received those the two changes that were there. One of which is the vehicle purchase from police for the code enforcement officer. In addition to making the amendment, it would be helpful for me to have a motion to pay for that. And I explained in my email to the board that we don't have an internal invoice process, and that's why it didn't go through the open bills process that we normally have. So that's something we want to rectify in the future. And then the other change was just a typo with the fire department. And so you got that adjustment as well. So are there any questions?
I do have a question, Ms. Starbuck, on that purchase of that vehicle. That wasn't an email after the evening that the board made that motion that the township board had approved the purchase of that particular item for the dollar amount it was a purchase price plus the repairs, not to exceed a certain dollar amount. So is there something beyond that you're looking for from the board? Because we had already approved the payment of it.
So there's a couple steps. There's approving the purchase, which the board did on that night. And then we would have to approve the budget amendment, and then we approve the actual paying of the invoice, right? Which normally, like I said, happens through the open bills process. So I did receive that, but because there was no invoice, it just didn't trigger that it wasn't in the general ledger properly and it wasn't in the budget properly. So I created a budget amendment request form that I'm hoping to use next year that will help us with these because it's just, I get a lot of emails like that. And so occasionally one slips through the cracks. So I'd like to create a form for it.
Okay. Did you have that dollar figure in front of you?
That's what I was going to ask.
It's $5,000 for the vehicle. The repairs were in the last round of amendments, and that was around $2,300. I don't have the exact amount.
Okay. Ms. Chick? You're muted, Ms. Chick.
So I want to understand, Yvette, what you're saying is that an email or a motion does not qualify as an invoice. So you're looking for a specific type of piece of information. Okay, so the form that you created will substitute for that or act as an invoice, yes?
Well, not exactly. The form that I created just organizes our budget amendments so that we have one place where we have all of the budget amendments recorded. An internal invoice or internal check request is a different form we would need to create.
Okay.
So this happens quite often at the township. We do transfers from, police to fire or general fund to fire. We don't have a form for that. And I'm just
Like an inter-office expense.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Well, thank you for doing that. I appreciate that, making us a little more efficient and helps you a lot too. Thank you.
Yes.
I'd imagine that something like that and a process documented like that will help us in the audit as well.
Yeah,
definitely. Yes.
Okay. And prevent this from happening in the future, hopefully. All right. Does anyone else have any questions for Ms. Starbuck? Yes, Ms. Zelena.
So I think Ms. Starbuck mentioned that there's the typo in the fire department that was in the police department, just for clarification. That was all my comment was.
Okay. Zelena?
That was me.
Thank you, Ms. Zelena. And Ms. Starbuck, so that motion that you'd be looking for is a motion to pay the interior account bill for the ordinance enforcement officer's vehicle in the amount of $5,000?
Yes.
I'll entertain that motion. Is there support?
I'll support.
Supported by Chick. Any discussion on the motion? And this is an item we've addressed in the past. This is actually paying the bill. All right. Seeing no other discussion, Ms. Otto, will you call the roll?
Janet Chick,
Yes.
Nate Muko,
Yes.
Josh Nelson,
Yes.
Lenore Zelnat,
Yes.
Ken Dignan,
Yes.
Jackie Addo, yes. 6-0.
Next, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt resolution 21-645, making the final budget amendments for the 2020-2021 fiscal year.
I'll support.
So motion by Dignan, supported by Chick. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, Ms. Otto, will you call the roll, please?
Ken Dignan,
Yes.
Nate Moko,
Yes.
Janet Chick,
Yes.
Josh Nelson,
Yes.
Lenore Zelnok,
Yes.
Jackie Otto. Yes. 6-0.
Motion carries. Ms. Starbuck, thank you very much. We do appreciate all of your hard work and efforts, and thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you.
too.
Okay, next item. As you know, we made a motion and passed unanimously to return to in-person meetings. As part of a formality to that, I'd like to make a motion to rescind the electronic meeting procedures that the Northfield Township Board of Trustees had adopted on the April 13th, 2021 meeting, and instruct all boards, commissions, and committees within Northfield Township to meet in person to be in compliance with the Open Meetings Act. Ms. Otto, did you say something? I think you're muted.
I'll support it.
Motion by Dignan, supported by Otto. Discussion on the motion. Yes, Mr. Nelson, and then Ms. Zelnok.
I just wanted to say that, yes, of course, I'm going to move forward with this, but and we'll have to bring it up later once we figure out the process. I'm definitely open to looking into hybrid alternatives and to potentially, provided this works out legally, give alternatives to the other boards for them to go to hybrid meetings as necessary. I feel like, obviously, we should be able to delegate those kinds of controls to volunteer boards who are there trying to serve at their own behest. I think it's really important that we move forward with that down the road.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. Ms. Zelnok.
So if I recall, we went to the Zoom meetings under the Washtenaw County resolution. I'm unaware that that has changed. So I agree with the comments that I think volunteer commissions boards should be able to decide on their own if they want to continue with their Zoom meetings. And I would support certainly the paid position boards to come back in person.
Okay. Paid or unpaid, it doesn't change the fact that it's an Open Meetings Act requirement. And even when you go to hybrid meetings, hybrid is only for public. The hybrid not for board members serving on any public board in the state of Michigan. So even if we were to go to hybrid meetings where we would allow the public to participate in a hybrid model, no board members, paid or unpaid, would be permitted under Open Meetings Act to participate in meetings remotely.
Right.
That's an important point to remember, is that the state has chosen not to amend those laws to make permanent changes to that requirement. So go ahead.
No, so I'd asked, has the Washtenaw County Commissioners rescinded their resolution, the one that we followed to continue in Zoom?
Before we rescinded it? Yes. Let me ask Ms. Schink if she wouldn't mind. Ms. Schink, can you raise your hand if you're available? I know Ms. Schink is a chair of our Board of Commissioners. Let's see if she
There.
willing to join us here and answer that question.
No, that was my understanding as well, that the board members have to attend, have to. They cannot do virtual, yep.
So my understanding is we went to the virtual and continued the virtual based on the Washtenaw County resolution that was December 31st. So
I believe that expired. I don't know for a fact, but I remember searching for it. And let me just real quick.
Anyway.
But anyway, is there anyone else with additional comments? Yes, Moko.
Yeah, I had my hand up earlier, but everything pretty much got answered. I was pretty sure that was the legal advice, that the boards still have to meet in person, even if we do go hybrid. Unfortunately, I think it'd be nice if volunteer boards could do their option, but I think we have to be across the board, I agree with keep it the same across the board. And regardless of what Washtenaw County says, if the state says we're open, we're open. That's the way I feel about it. And I definitely wouldn't follow most of what Washtenaw County goes after. So.
Thank you, Mr. Moko. Ms. Chick?
Yeah, if I recall, even when we decided to follow the Washtenaw County resolution recommendation, that we were not obligated to. So I don't know that we're actually held to it. So
That is correct. It is up to us as to whether or not to meet that. It does look like there was a local resolution. The sustained presence of COVID-19 in the community. Declare an emergency. Let's see. Yeah, it's a little confusing there because some of their things say the order is no longer active. I don't know one way or another. As I said, we as a board acted, I put forth this motion just as a formality of rescinding our earlier meeting procedures. So if there's no other discussion, I'll ask Ms. Otto to call the roll.
Nate Muko,
Yes.
Lenore Zelnok,
No.
Ken Dignan,
Yes.
Jackie Addo, yes. Josh Nelson,
Yes.
Janet Chick,
yes,
5-1.
Okay, motion carried. Next item is the consideration of resolution 21-646. That's the broadband task force resolution. I did notice that our broadband task force representative, Mr. LJ Walter, is in the audience. I don't know if Mr. Walter is available to speak to the last meeting in this resolution, but I'd like to invite him to, if you're okay with that. Everyone okay with that?
yes.
If LJ is okay with that. Mr. Walter, are you there? We'll wait to see if he comes up and
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey guys. Hi, so I'm glad you guys brought this to the meeting today. I thought it might have to wait until next month. I'm really grateful that it came up today. So this resolution is a request. It doesn't ask for any money or anything from the township. It is just a formal statement of support, offering the township's support for the task force to request from the county, from the Washtenaw County, about $14 million to disperse to individual municipalities in the county to flesh out broadband support and try to get to 100% across the board. It doesn't require anything from us at this time, aside from just saying, yes, we support the request to the county. It'd be great. It's essentially free money. It doesn't cost us as a township a dime, and it would be fantastic. And I really appreciate you guys discussing it tonight.
Thank you, LJ. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anybody have a question? Mr. Nelson.
So I personally, being quite more libertarian in nature, don't like it when, in general, when the government steps in and does or doesn't do something. But in most cases, with this, from what I understand and how I've read this, because I think we need broadband around here, regardless. Because of the American Rescue Plan, there's going to be money coming out for this, regardless, and it would be almost foolish to not take that money, because it's going to be going somewhere regardless, and improving our broadband with it. I fully support this. I think this is a very good idea down the road, simply because I don't think it's not really affecting our taxpayers. It's not affecting our budget, or won't really affect our budget at the very least. and we'll get that money and we'll be able to make a big improvement to our existing infrastructure. I think everyone here knows that our Wi-Fi is subpar compared to Ann Arbor. I know a few miles down the road, maybe 3 miles down the road in Ann Arbor Township, they have gigabit internet and they can get it and it works. And here we don't have it. What a small difference 3 miles, 4 miles can make. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. Ms. Otto?
So I had a few questions, and I'm glad you let LJ speak, because I wanted to also understand what the expectation of the township was in order to sign this resolution. I'm very surprised that they're not looking for a match, but I'm expecting that we would have to put in something at some time.
Yeah, a little bit to that. Commissioner Schick did call me. Commissioner Schenk called me earlier. I apologize, tripping over my words there. And certainly they're going to ask that the township have some participation in this. But you know, in likening it to other types of matching, you know, I don't believe that it'll be a hard, fast, you must participate 50% or something to that effect. It's going to be more along the lines of, we need you to participate in some fashion to some extent. And, you know, it'll be interesting to see what this shakes out as well. So sorry to interrupt you, Ms. Otto, go ahead.
No, I had another question. In here, it says 3,700 homes. Is that the 3,700 homes just in our township that don't, by county?
County. That's Washtenaw County. In our township, there's 12 to 13% of the properties in our township do not currently have broadband.
I can actually speak to that. 471 homes in the township do not have broadband.
Okay.
400. Yeah.
Okay. And then I would like to even make a further comment. Lenore and I probably live less than a half mile apart from each other. And as you can see, Lenore, you know, has issues with hers. You could see where it comes up and says that it's low broadband experience or something. I'm only less than a half a mile from her. I can walk over to her house. It's almost like 2 blocks. And I don't have the same experience. But that doesn't mean I don't always have the same experience. Some like this afternoon when it was raining and everything, I think everybody probably had internet issues and everything. But I do believe that this is something that with COVID, that it really caught our attention. We never had the funds prior to do anything like this. And now we're given an opportunity to do something. And while I don't want to put all our eggs in one basket, I feel that this is a good opportunity to at least give to the 471 homes that don't have it.
Excellent. Ms. Chick, and then Mr. Moko.
Yep, I just wanted to reiterate that this is a resolution in support of the county doing this, that we aren't any obligation to commit a certain dollar amount of funds. The money from the American Rescue Plan, we have to apply for. So that doesn't mean that we're going to get it, because there's a lot of paperwork involved and it's going to take a lot of time to substantiate why we need it and how we're going to use it. And we have other issues in the township that we have to look at as well besides broadband. So yeah, I'm all about getting broadband for the people that don't have it and improving services within the township and committing some funds to this. So I'm in favor of yes on this resolution.
Ms. Chick, Mr. Moko.
Yeah, I have no problem voting yes on this resolution, but the strictly for the fact that it's not committing any of our township funds towards this. I think it's nice if everybody could have broadband. I don't feel like broadband is a right. I hate to say it like that. It sounds harsh. And I had to use HughesNet for years here, and it was horrible. I understand that, but I just don't know that we should, when it comes time, commit everybody's money to broadband. I think we have a lot of other pressing issues, but I'm willing to learn about more about it. And thank you, LJ, for what you did. But I don't, it's not, there shouldn't be an expectation that everybody deserves broadband. And it sounds harsh when I say it, but it's when you move into the place and I can't get cable here, and it ends at the neighborhood a quarter mile from my house. There is other options for people. So I just don't want to commit everybody in the township's money to a small issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moko. I guess the one comment I'll make, and then I'll go to Ms. Zelenak, is the American Rescue Plan. People have already started lining up. I've gotten a half dozen phone calls about people wanting that money for something. Everything from providing better security and safety for people walking to health, the access to health services, because there is no access to any health services in Northfield Township at all. There are no doctors here. There are no clinics here. There's not even a pharmacy here, but there's no access to healthcare here in Northfield Township. So, there's going to be people lining up, probably 10, 20-fold from what we can service. Broadband is certainly something that is important. I can tell you back from my experiences in education, it's critical to delivering educational content to kids. But I have some reservations, not about this resolution, but about the way that it'll be implemented down the road. I don't think that laying wires in the ground or above the ground is the answer. With that being said, I have been going down a journey with a wireless provider that's been gracious enough to provide test equipment. And I have been exploring the wide reaches and corners of Northfield Township and have yet to find a dead zone. So I'm working with several residents who have indicated that their homes are complete and total dead zones. And like I said, I'm trying to explore the options. This provider offers 250 megabit unlimited internet, including streaming, anywhere in Northfield Township for $50 a month. And that's impressive. So if they're able to deliver something like that, like I said, right now, some of this equipment is not out yet. It's stuff they're testing, but I know that Ms. Zelenak would I'm sure you'd be intrigued by something like that to look at, as would many of our residents who I've talked to have they have nothing. Satellite internet, which is very challenging. But certainly, I think it's important that we provide Commissioner Schenk with our support in this, and are more than happy to go forward with that. Ms. Zelenak?
So I'd just like to say, I think this is the first good step forward, and I look forward to looking at the cost benefits of the other options, including internet, when they are available. As far as the last I recall was you could do roads, not roads. It would be great if you could do roads. Was water, sewer, internet. So maybe they have expanded the options, but I do look forward to looking at that for the community as a whole. This is a good. As Miss Otto was explaining, I have one option. That's the only cell phone, that's the only internet that works. And lately it's been not very reliable. So, and I actually find that only 471 people in our township don't have internet. It actually seems very, very low to me. But it'd be very good if it's only 471 of us. I might be the 1+1, but thank you. I think it's a good first step. I'll be supporting it.
Yeah, I think if we look at it as properties, 471 properties, that's probably pretty close. But I certainly it's a challenge. But so if there's no further discussion, I'll make a motion we adopt resolution 21-646, the broadband task force resolution.
I'll support.
And okay, I'm going to complete that.
Oh,
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
To Commissioner Schenk to present to the Washtenaw County Board of Commissioners. Actually, I should advance it to LJ Walter, who will then advance it to Ms. Schenk. So they'll both get it in the same email. But all right, and it's supported by Chick. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Otto, will you call the roll?
Okay. I have to look. Jackie Otto, yes. Lenore Zelnok,
Yes.
Janet Chick,
Yes.
Nate Muko,
Yes.
Ken Dignan,
Yes.
Joshua Nelson,
Yes.
6-0.
All right. Next item is a discussion of the island at Main, North Main, and 8 Mile. As you may have seen, a group of volunteers and folks up there at Max Marina and Dee's Place got together today and cleaned that island up. Have been digging through and found out some more information that may be of interest. And we're trying to do a title search right now. I believe there is an easement on that property, not just a right of way, but an easement that would put Washtenaw County as being responsible for that parcel of property, which now that I think about it and go back, that makes a lot more sense. And Washtenaw County, I'm going back a long ways here, but basically didn't do anything with it for a long time. And then the DDA started funding, plants and flowers and various things there till about 10 years ago when they ran out of, when they were no longer capturing dollars. And at that time, the township took over doing much of that. I know Parks and Rec did for a while and as well. So we're trying to figure that out, because if there is an easement that is owned, that easement is owned by Washtenaw County, then the question becomes, do you want Washtenaw County just to come and just grind it all down, or do we want to work with a group of volunteers to maintain it as an entrance to our community? So, but if there's an easement, it is regardless of who owns the property, it's like more than likely the easement, the person who take over the easement that would be responsible for it. So we'll have more info on it in a future meeting, but right now it's taken care of. But Ms. Chick?
So I remember during the marijuana discussions on the property there for Max Marina, that there was an item, and I don't remember if it came up at the planning commission or if it came up at the board meeting, that there was an easement that they were discussing, but they never actually said where it was, if it was part of the curbs or, part of Sam's property, or where it was located. So I'm all about, if we can find out who actually has responsibility for that piece of property, and the sooner the better, of course, then kudos.
None of it is Max Marina's property. None of it's Sam's.
No, I think that when they were talking about it, that there was an easement, and I don't know that, I don't even think they knew exactly where the easement was when they were talking about Sam's property. So
When you look at the shape of the property, it's really bizarre. The shape of the property is really weird, because it goes across the road. It goes up over into part of the hotel driveway, and then it goes across the street and takes over one of the driveways of the gas station. I mean, that's Mr. Dillon's property, goes down and takes over all that area. It's very bizarre to see the shape of the parcel. And it all came down to when they rerouted the road completely. When they took the road and rerouted it from in front of Dee's Place to going straight and then having a sharp 90 onto North Main, that's when everything changed. And they built that island there. Miss Otto?
So a couple of things. I would be, if I was Mr. Dillon, I would be concerned that I'm paying property that people are driving on. So it would be concerning that it was not properly surveyed when the road was created. And so, you know, that's an issue, but I think that is up to Mr. Dillon to have to address. And then for the easement, if nobody wants to take care of the easement or that piece of property, then I would even suggest that the township board or the township look into seeing if the township could take over that easement. And then it wouldn't become a problem for us to take care of it. I mean, I've been on the board for 9 years. I felt that, or I thought that the county owned it the whole entire time.
Right.
And
that's
what we were told. And that's why we probably went ahead and just took care of it for them. Because the county only, even MDOT, they only take care of the exits, you know, twice a year, if that. And in addition to that, if we're only worried about that one easement, I would ask, and I've asked several times with this board, if we could start worrying more about our exits, because that is also the entrance into our township, is how we appear to the outside. Start cutting the grass, start mowing around the trees that were planted in the exit areas, start cleaning that up. We have 3-4 exit areas that we need to have cleaned up.
Well, my understanding also is that we are responsible for one of the roundabouts on 8 Mile.
Yes.
Either the west roundabout.
It is the west one we're responsible, but we pay Green Oak Township for all of it.
What do you mean we pay Green Oak Township?
We pay Green Oak Township maintenance on it. Yeah, like $4,000 a year or something like that.
They maintain all 3 roundabouts. We just pay them to do it, so we don't have to.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that. I just knew that we were.
They also maintain the lights too. It's okay. Lights and the cleaning up. And yes, every once in a while we gotta call Green Oak and tell them you need to clean.
Yeah, I think on that island property, I mean, Mr. Dillon's only owned it for 2.5 to 3 years now, and I don't think he cares.
Well, he probably doesn't even know. But my concern is he paying property tax on something? And I don't know. I'm just speculating. I'm just saying if I was him, I would look into it. But and he probably never even was told that was probably his property.
Yeah, I think you probably know. I mean, he's got a survey of his property.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he just, you know, because literally it goes across, and it is part of the non-developed part of the entryway to the hotel, because it crosses and goes all the way up to there. So, you know, who knows? It's once we find out, once we are able to pull back and see if there's an easement on the title, that'll answer some questions. But
yeah, because usually when we build, you know, sidewalks or roads or anything, it's up to the township or the county to take the easements,
right, and
pay for the easements.
And I think when marijuana was looking at it and they presented, they were actually buying that parcel or part of that parcel off from Mr. Dillon, and they were buying another parcel from another guy, and they were going to give a different kind of easement. I think that's what they were talking about, but who knows? That's nor here nor there. But yeah, Miss Chick, go ahead, please.
So when we find out, and I hope we find out quickly so that we can get past this, but if we find out there is an easement, then fine, we're good with taking care of it. If we find out there is no easement, it actually belongs to Mr. Dillon. If Mr. Dillon would like us to take care of it, if he wants to deed that property to the township, we'll take care of it for him.
Oh, sure. I'm sure. Yep. All right. I don't think there's any other action on that. Does anyone else have any comments, or can we move to the next item? All right.
I do have an item.
Yes, go ahead, Ms. Zelena.
Well, no, yeah, so just for people know is that we are paying J&M to clean that up once a month.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
No, that got stopped last October.
Did it? Okay,
Yeah, that
so we
got-
changed the contract? We changed the contract then?
There was a motion by the board in October, I think it was
Okay.
the first October last year.
Okay. All right. So I guess we have to decide, what are we going to do, right? Or we're just having volunteers do it. So J&M doesn't do that anymore. Okay.
Well, volunteers in Max Arena and D's place took care of it today. So,
Okay. All right.
and we're
And
appreciative
so
of it.
did we get a complaint? Is that why we're discussing it?
No, we just stopped maintaining it.
Okay.
Well, we just
We
stopped
did get a
maintaining
complaint. We did get
Okay.
several complaints, yeah.
Okay.
as did the
So-
road committee.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to see where we were coming from that. Okay. Very good.
But next time we stop maintaining something, though, we should probably tell the property owner that we're stopping maintaining it. Whether it
that's
be or whether it be anywhere, we should probably at least let the property owner know that we're not doing that anymore, which we didn't do.
That's probably good. Good idea. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. All right, next item on the agenda, I'll make a motion to pay the bill to BHS Insurance in the amount of $10,636 for the renewal of our Providence A&H policy effective July 1st, 2021 through 2022.
I'll second that.
Okay,
Can you
motion
repeat
by
the amount?
$10,636.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. It's invoice number 42279, if that matters. There's a motion by Dignan, supported by Moco. Any discussion on the motion?
Benny,
All right, hearing none. Miss Otto, will you call the roll, please?
Ken Dignan,
Yes?
Josh Nelson,
Yes.
Nate Muko,
Yes.
Janet Chick,
yes.
Jackie Otto. Yes. Lenore Solnut,
Yes.
6-0.
Okay. Motion carried. Next item is announcements. The board will be having a regular meeting. No. I believe it's another spot
It's a special meeting.
on the 6th. There will be no business on that agenda. That meeting is strictly for our representative from the Michigan Municipal League to come to the board and present and discuss the help to profile Northfield Township and to understand the board's goals and objectives in hiring a township manager. So that expected to be a 2-hour meeting, according to the gentleman from MML. But I look forward for that, and the public is welcome to join us, obviously, and there will be a call to the public at the end of the meeting. So, any other announcements? There's 4th of July festivities going on. I don't know if we want to address those under board member comments, but next we'll go to petitions and communications. Let's see. Anyone from the public that would like to address the board, you may do so at this time. Mr. Gordonier, your hand was up. I think it was up again and not from earlier. Is that correct?
Yes.
Go ahead. Oh, Ms. Gordonier, yes.
Yes, I wanted to let you know that we are in a dead zone regarding internet. Charter Spectrum does not provide service. AT&T does not provide service. Comcast does not provide service on Sutton Road between Northfield Township, Northfield Church Road and Pontiac Trail. T-Mobile 5G does not provide service in this area. Every single one of my neighbors does not have access to the internet, including us. So to say that it's available for everybody in the township is not correct.
I said we were working on that, ma'am. And I drove right past your house today with the device that was connected. So we will work with you. I'll be in touch. I've been talking to your son. I will definitely be happy to work with you on that. It It is a new level of 5G, so it's different than what's out there right now. It's
not available.
but it is. I'll
Well,
talk to you.
tell T-Mobile that because they're telling us it's not available.
Right. All right. Thank you for your time. All right. Next is Mr. Hatch. Go right ahead.
Hi, Joseph Hatch from 511.
Hatch, not able to hear you at this time.
Pontiac Trail. I'm on the corner of Sutton and Pontiac Trail, 2 doors down from Terry and Terry. 1 bar of Verizon. I have a flip phone that I put in a window, and I can get 1 bar.
You're perfect.
Can you hear me now?
Your connection right now is showing us the problem that you're having. I definitely.
Yeah. So I'm on my phone. Can you hear me now? Sorry.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, thanks. I'm on my phone and I'm 2 doors down from Terry and Terry. I'm on Pontiac Trail in Sutton. I got 1 bar of Verizon. We have a flip phone in our house, and my 2 kids and my wife and I had to work from home for a year doing a flip phone. So I wrote a letter to you guys. I think you got my email. We had to rent space in Ann Arbor to get internet to our house. There's an AT&T line in the grass in my yard coming from the telephone pole that goes back to Tamarack Trail. And they have AT&T. So AT&T says we're covered. Charter won't run us lines. Xfinity won't run us lines because Charter services us. We call Charter, they won't run us lines because it's too expensive. I put out a Google form with my neighbors, the McMahons and I can't remember the other gal's name, Linda, on top of my head, up the street, and we have about $12,000 to $15,000 in people willing to pay for the installation of lines. Should the task force fall apart, you know, we're on our own here trying to like cobble together something. So between Victor Volkman down the street and Terry and myself and the other 20 or 25 people in this little neighborhood on this intersection, you know, if you call having a 1 bar flip phone to try to tether and watch Hulu with your kids or whatever, you know, if you call that access, I don't think that's equitable access. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Hatch. Okay.
Good evening, Adam Only again, Northfield Township resident. Just as I spoke before, I'm a little disappointed that we don't have the hybrid option already addressed when we're going to these in-person meetings. This is something that could have been handled 6 months ago when we knew that virtual meetings were going to come to an end at some point, and it was never handled by the board. So now it's coming to an end, and we're cutting off access to the meeting for those who can't go in person. And with the Mr. Dillon property, it just seems like this came to the board prematurely. There's not accurate information, not complete information. And if the marina and ice cream shop owners want to maintain it, I mean, I don't know why we're talking about deeding it to the township for the township to take on more responsibility when the marina and D's ice cream just advertise on it anyways. So if they want to maintain it and they want to advertise on it, it should be deeded to them maybe. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Olney. If there's any other members of the public that would like to address the board, please raise your hand and we'll call on you. I do not see anyone else at this time. So we'll move on to board member comments. I have a few updates that I'll give you guys. There is some code enforcement stuff. Mr. Spiegelberg had given a commitment to the township a couple of months ago in regards to the demolition of 193 Barker and 9977 North Main. Within the next 30 days, he should have a demolition permit pulled and start the demolition of those 2 structures. We are continuing to move forward on the property split for 75 Barker Road. We're waiting on some stuff from Mr. Jackson that would come back to the 75 Barker Road Committee. We haven't gotten that back yet. There are some things afoot in regards to sidewalks in the township and a comprehensive plan for having those restored by the property owners in which the sidewalks exist on. I got the okay from the attorney today to agree or to commence the A3E environmental cleanup on 75 Barker, which the board had previously approved the expenditure for. So tomorrow I will be in contact with A3E to get that scheduled. Had a meeting with Marta Larson and Linda Lupi of the Health Equity Group in regards to the clinic that the Northfield Human Services is trying to get launched here. And they certainly are interested in having further discussions with the township and how that'll work. Let's see, what else? You may see there's been some code enforcement in regards to the gas station at East Shore in Maine. That's going to continue. There's been some other issues there. And also the board will probably see, not on the 6th, but the next meeting, a renewal lease for the right-of-way between US 23 and 8 Mile on the railroad tracks. There's a 10-foot right-of-way that we have failed to renew that came up in 2019. It should have been renewed then. It's a 20-year lease agreement for $2,500. And it's for our sewer line that runs along the railroad. We kind of need that. I was going to try to see whether or not they would be willing to make that a 20-foot easement for the same price, which would allow us then to have a non-motorized path along there too, potentially, since we already have a right-of-way. We'll see, but that'll be forthcoming. And then, of course, the fee structure for our building department will be coming also 2 weeks from now. It'll be on the agenda. So it's kind of my rundown of the things I had going in case any of you had questions about them. None of them are really actionable at this point, but they're just some of the things that are hanging out there. So I'll go to Miss Otto. Do you have anything or any questions or comments?
This week is parade week. And the parade will be on Saturday, July 3rd at 10 a.m. We have a couple of features. Chief Wagner is going to be our Grand Marshal. We also have ATR Motorsports Promotions, who will be bringing Bone Chiller, which is a monster truck. And we will also have the parade route lined with 50 flags. And this is from a gentleman, Ray Tuck, who is from the 50 Flag Salute group. And we will also have a display. And this is to thank our veterans and all our service people during this time. And if you have not gotten your registrations in, you have been contemplating, procrastinating, please get them in as soon as possible.
All right. Thank you, Miss Otto. Miss Chick.
Miss Otto, what time does the parade start again?
10 a.m.
Okay, and what time do they close the roads?
9:45.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Wagner, did you want to address that?
Yeah, I was just going to mention also, yeah, for the parade, we usually close the main street at 9:45. And then for the fireworks, we usually announce that we're going to close main between Northfield and Barker. And now we're going to close it at 8 p.m. And we really, sometimes it goes a little longer. It's when it starts to get dangerous, when we get a lot of pedestrians on the road. That's when we close it. But we say 8 p.m. for the fireworks, and that's on Friday night.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Mr. Moko, do you have anything?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Sam and the crew from Max and D's for cleaning that up. I think I'm more confused now to who owns it than I was before the meeting, but once you find out who owns it, then we'll go from there. So at this point, thanks, Sam. That's about all I can say on it. What else do I got? Fireworks. Fireworks should shoot right around 10 p.m. on Friday night. We ended up, we went and bought a couple more. I think I might have said this last week. I have so many meetings lately. We ended up increasing the size of the show a little bit this year. It's going to be awesome. If there's anybody listening who has a group of Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, a team, whether it's a Whitmore Lake team or some club team, and they want to help with parking, that's the only thing we need help with. If anybody's watching wants to know where to park, if you're not walking down there, we set up a parking lot in the Northfield Township field or park, but it's a field. So anyways, we can still get away with doing that before it becomes a park, and then we'll figure it out from there. So I'm just excited the show's going on. It's between the parade committee folks and the folks on the fireworks committee. We got a hell of a lot of good volunteers in this town, and it's going to be a great weekend, Friday night into Saturday. And there's a dunk tank. I heard a rumor that Ken might be in it. We'll have Brad McCormick, the athletic director, in it. I'd be glad to hop in it. So thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody. Have a great 4th.
Thanks, Nate. Thanks. Ms. Chick, and then Mr. Nelson, and then we'll go to Ms. Alner.
Yeah, real quickly, I checked in with Dan Willis at the wastewater treatment plant, checking on how they were doing down there with the rain. Unfortunately, because the rain's coming in spurts and it's not one big dump, they're not having any issues. He also shared that they have begun clearing the site for the new equalization basin. So yay, that's getting done.
Excellent. Thank you, Ms. Chick. Mr. Nelson.
No comments at this time. I just wanted to wish everyone a happy and safe 4th, and it's been a while since everyone's been able to be out for holidays. I ask everyone to enjoy the holiday, enjoy it, live it up, soak up that sun. If we don't get rained out, which hopefully we won't. Have a happy 4th, everyone. Thanks again.
You too.
Mr. Nelson, Ms. Eleanor.
So yes, I just again, thank the people that came out to speak on the internet. I look forward, maybe Ken, you can drive by our house one day and check it out and see what you're talking about. I do think it is an issue that the township has an opportunity right now to address with funds that we weren't expecting. So I look forward to seeing what we can do with those funds. And I'd like to say happy 4th of July, everyone. Be safe, enjoy. The run last weekend was very successful. I thank the police department, the fire department for their awesome volunteerism as with all the other volunteers. Couldn't do it without everybody volunteering. So it does take a lot of volunteers to put on these events. And thank you, everybody, for doing that. They're a lot of fun. Enjoy.
Thank you, Ms. Eleanor. A few other quick things. Living Water Church will be giving away water at the church and at the public safety building out front. Free water, compliments of APSA Pure Water Company and Living Water Church during the parade. Also, if anyone wants to bring a chair down and have a seat, my building at 22 Barker, at the corner of Barker and Main, you're welcome to sit there. We're going to keep the parking lot clear for folks who want to sit and watch the parade. And I believe the grandstand is going to be there, or the announcers platform, if I remember correctly. Is that right, Ms. Otto? Yes, it is. Okay. But invite everybody to just come down and have a good time, be sensible. I would like to say, to anyone that was involved in the unfortunate incident that took place up at yesterday evening, in our prayers for those that were affected in there. Someone took their own life there in the parking lot, and I commend our first responders for getting there and managing the situation as best they could. But please keep the workers and those that were present in your prayers. They're definitely going to need that. It's sad. And remember, folks, if you're ever in that situation, please reach out to somebody. It's just so sad when you see things like this take place. With that, I guess I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there support?
Motion to adjourn. I'll support. I don't know who motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, everyone, and
Have a good night.
You
Bye.
too. Happy 4th.
Happy
See you
4th,
this
everyone.
weekend.
Yeah. Love the green tractor.
Looks, yeah, keeping it shiny.
Yep.